This message has been brewing all week long. And it's been brewing because there's been a lot going on. So as I go and put myself in a position to be better used by God, um, there's been a lot going on left and right. I mean, everything and anything. But just this last week has been a wow for me. There's been a lot of people going and asking me for prayer for different things in their business, prayer for different things in their personal life. Yesterday, the uh, the entrepreneurial industry lost an amazing person, and so CC, the six-figure chick, passed away yesterday morning, and it hit people in different ways. Um, it hit me in a couple different ways because it was that wake up call. I know with everything we've been going on throughout COVID, it's been a wake up call. You don't know who has it, you don't know who doesn't have it. You don't know if you're going to lose a loved one, you don't know if you're going to get sick. Um, just recently, I found out that some people that I know have gotten COVID. I mean, that I know a little more closely have gotten it, and their whole family has it, like children, everybody, the whole household. But it goes back to, this is the time we need to move. Like, this is the time. This is not the time for us to twiddle our thumbs. This is not the time for us to align ourselves with people that do not line up with our core values. This is not the time for us to go and follow the pretty, shiny object. Real talk. This is the time for us to make sure that we are in alignment with things that line up with our core values, our mission, and our vision. And if we're not, now is the time for us to separate. Why? Because one of the things that, one of the comments that was made on the post that was talking about Cece was that this week, while she was in the hospital, she was sending out money to people for Starbucks. Like, she was still blessing people, even while being, even while being in the hospital, she was still blessing people. But she was able to do so because she had been doing what her gifting was. She had been walking fully in her gifting throughout, her illnesses, throughout everything. She had still been walking in her gift. And a lot of us, we talk about how, it's been so tough for people and we wish we could help. But are you walking in your gift so you can be in position to help people, even in the midst of what you may be going through? And I know one of the strangest things when it comes to us literally helping and doing the things that we said we wanted to do was that we feel like we need to get permission from the world for us to be great. And I want to share with you right now, permission has been granted. Permission was granted by your father before you were even formed in your mother's womb. By your heavenly Father, permission was granted. It was gifted to you. You were born with permission to be your greatest self, because he knew the impact it would have on someone else in the future. And so this week, it was funny because I had somebody reach out and say, "Oh, my coach is doing this such and such program, and I wanted to send this out and see if you were interested. It's some really great ways for you to make money." Y'all know that's one of the ways that people really try to entice you, is that they tell you that it's a great way to make money. And right, and a lot of people, they kind of fall in alignment and go, "Yeah, I want to make money, so let me go ahead and tap into this." A lot of people have gotten stuck in communities that did not line up with their core values because of the premise of being able to make money. That's not the goal. So you got to go back and say, what's really the goal? And if permission has been granted, then there should be no reason why I'm not working at my highest capacity. If permission has been granted, then provision has been given. I'm going to just pause and let that filter in your shanana. If permission has been granted, provision has been given. And far too many times we go and drag our feet because we're waiting for permission, but it's already been given. It was given, it was literally Jeremiah 29:11. It was given to you before you were even born. And so I think about, this question, but as I was looking at her message, I was just like, no, I'm not interested. And I kindly responded. I didn't have to ignore her. I didn't have to be rude, but I responded and said, no, I am. I said, I already have coaching from someone who is in alignment with my core values. And at this time, the best way, the only way for us to be successful is if we are aligning ourselves with people who have our core values. If people do not have your core values, then what you will find yourself doing is you will find yourself getting into communities with people that are practicing Wicca. You will get yourself in communities with people that are practicing spells and all types of craziness and voodoo, and they're talking to spirits in order for them to be able to get their business started, and they're using stuff that you would not use in your own home, and even just them personally and how they treat people is not the way that you want to treat people. So you need to be very careful about who you are aligning yourself up with, because permission has already been granted. Provision has already been given for you to be your greatest self. So if you align up with someone who is not lined up with your core values, then what you are doing is you are drinking poison. You're drinking poison. It's poisoning your future. It's poisoning who it is that you're supposed to be. It's poisoning your family. It's poisoning your business. It's poisoning your mission, because you've lined yourself up with people that did not align. And so when I think about that, I think about David. And I look at this week and I go, wow. When I saw the post about her passing, I went and immediately was like, I hope her family's going to be okay. Like, what are her clients going to do? Those types of things. Like, I'm thinking about people because that's where my core is, my heart. I'm about people, I'm about service. So I was like, wow, I hope her family's going to be okay. I hope that, her clients and stuff are going to be okay. Those things really stood out to me. Other people, they went all kind of left. And it was all types of comments, right? But it made me think of David, because when David went to Saul, when Saul called David, because he heard about what David had been talking about when it came to the Philistine, when it came to Goliath, when he heard what David had been talking about, he called him. I need y'all to get this in your heart, and I need to get you deep down in your soul. You've been called. If you woke up this morning, you were called. You were called because there was something that you were doing. God said, I need you here another day. You've been called. And so I need you to understand that you've been called for such a time as this. Whatever industry you're in, stop dragging your feet. You've been called by the King of Kings. And so when Saul called David, David went to Saul. And David was like, I see what's going on. Give me permission to go and make this happen. Go and take care of this. Let me handle this for you. Sometimes the reason why we haven't accepted the permission that we've been given because we haven't talked to God about it. Haven't gone to the King. And we're going to people instead of going to the King. So David spoke directly to the King. I need you to have that deep down in you. The king has granted you permission. The thing about it was the king was like, oh, we'll put on my armor. See, this is why we have to talk to our Father on a regular basis. He said, put on my armor, because this will help them know that you're coming from me and that you're strong and that it'll make you look a certain way. See, our Heavenly Father will not make us look a certain way. He will not have us put on anything that is not meant for us, that is too big for us. I need y'all to catch this. He will not give us anything too big for us. He will not give us anything that's not meant for us. He will not give us anything that will make us look a certain way. He wants us to show up authentically us, because there is something about us that, just like the smooth stone, it can do wonders in our hands. There is something about you that, just like the smooth stone, it can take out giants when it is thrown in the right direction. There's something that's on the inside of you. How much longer will you wait to be used? How much longer will you wait to be used? And as I was sending that message back, I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any fear, like the person may get mad. I didn't feel any of those things. I just said, God, I talk to you about what you want me to do, about where you have me going. Because I'm a smooth stone, or I may be a jagged rock. Y'all better catch that. I may be a smooth stone some days and a jagged rock on others, but God can use me. And so when I looked at that, like, wow, she was in the hospital still being able to bless people. It's only because she knew that she had permission and it was granted for her to be her best self. In business, in life, just be your best self. I know we talk about, people talk about legacy and they talk about it being connected to the money. Look at that legacy that she just left. Permission has been granted. And when I think about it, and I think about David, I think about how he had to, one, seek God. He had to seek God. It had to be he had to seek him because that he had to have a regular relationship with him. Because remember, they called David a man after God's own heart, but David was not perfect. But he knew who to rely on. You got to replay the victories. He talks about how he had fought the lion and the bear. You got to replay the victories. This is the thing, when you're not in alignment and you're not in the right communities, replaying your victories will sound boastful to some people. Because they don't understand the strategy for being able to knock down Goliath in your life. No, I got to remember the strength God gave me 3 months ago. I got to remember the strength God gave me 3 years ago. I got to remember the strength God gave me 11 years ago. I got to remember the strength he gave me. So I got to replay the victories. I'm not saying that that's all that I ever talk about or that's all that I ever see, but I got to replay the victories because I got to remember and keep before me what God has done, where he brought me from, who he brought me to. He said, I will prepare a table before your enemies. He said that I will bring you before kings. Guess what? I look around and I'm like, wow, it's all you. You got to create a strategy. He said, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to fight him. I'm going to win. This is the thing. He had no doubt in his mind when he created his strategy. Can I tell you something? We got to get away from writing down a profit plan with doubt in our heart and doubt in our mind. We got to get away from saying we're going to do great things with doubt overshadowing us. You can't move with you got to go back, seek God's face. It's not saying that it won't come up, but you got to find your way of getting past that. Because if you doubt it, it's not going to happen. It's not. Then you got to get the right tools. See, Saul tried to give him his armor. It didn't fit. It wasn't him. He needed 3 smooth stones. What are the perfect tools that God gave you and told you to use? You're trying to use the tools that somebody else has. I went back this week and I did another purge through some of my stuff in my cloud. That's one thing I had not touched yet. And I was looking at some of the strategies and the books and things that I had from people. And I said, but none of this stuff worked for me. I had to create my own strategy. When I think about the email sequences, I had a perfect email sequence, but it didn't really get any engagement the way the email sequence I'm using now does. I had to find what worked for me. What was my smooth stones? What's your smooth stones? When it comes to your business, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your life, when it comes to relationships, what are the smooth stones that you have to battle with? And if anybody ever tells you relationships, you don't need to battle, that's a lie. It's a battle. It is. Sometimes it's going to be an easy win. Sometimes it's not. But what do you have to battle with? And then you got to take action. I look at all of the lives that she's touched, all the people she's helped and supported, all the communities that she's been a part of. And wow, her action opened up opportunities for so many other people. So when I look at this week I've been doing all of those things on my list. And I was just like, wow, God, you put us in positioning to really take action, but we are the ones holding us back most times. We're the ones that's tying us to and aligning ourselves up with people, things that don't line up with what God is calling us to do. Permission has been granted. I need you to get ready, to stay ready for whatever God has called you to do. No excuses. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. This has been a phenomenal week for me and being able to come back, finish everything I needed to finish. I had finals this week, which was another reason why I pulled back a lot from social media. And really understanding there's some type of David in all of us. We're not perfect, but man, we can make such a great impact. There may be some things that we do, and we got to come back to God. Oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Y'all know the whole. I just dated myself because that song is old. That song is old. Listen, that's old. Listen, I was in the youth mass choir when I was younger. Don't judge my lifestyle, but you go back and be like, it's me again, God. Because God isn't asking us to be perfect with it. He's not asking us to be the perfection of the ultimate Christianpreneur. He's not asking us to be the perfection of the perfect mom, the perfect daughter, the perfect niece. He's not asking us he's just asking us to show up and use what we got. He didn't ask you to be perfect at it. He didn't ask David to be perfect. David wasn't perfect, but we can't do it sitting still. We can't. We cannot. We cannot do it sitting still. So this week, upcoming week, I need you to walk like you have permission. This week, I need you to talk like you have permission. I need you to invest like you have permission has been granted already. I need you to move forward like permission has been granted already. I need you to go ahead and step into your greatest self like permission has been granted already, because it has. And there's no more excuses. None. I love y'all though. I told y'all I was going to dig a little deep in y'all today.